Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 6 of my Orlando City series for Football Manager 2015. It is, of course, building a dynasty, and that's kind of what I've been doing this preseason. I've brought in quite a few players, I've let a couple of players go here and there, and I think we're looking in pretty good, stead going forward into this second season of the club in the MLS, of course. Another thing to mention, as you can see at the top here, I have gone into international management. I am the Canada Under-23s manager going into the Olympic Games qualification against Costa Rica, Mexico, and Cuba. So that's pretty interesting. I've just set out my 23-man squad for that, and we got a couple of decent players, so you never know what might happen. I mean, Mexico is obviously going to be the toughest game, followed by Costa Rica. They're one of the strongest Central American teams out there, and I think we can probably beat Cuba. So, yeah, it's pretty much going to go down to the game against Costa Rica, I think. So, yeah, that'll be interesting, and I'll obviously let you guys know how I get on with that in the next episode after this one. So, make sure you check out for that. But anyways, let's get into the transfers first of all, and we'll show you what I've done so far. We'll go into the outs first of all. Mauro Rosales went to Deportivo Quito for 72,000. Obviously very old. Brought him in just for the one season. Actually played pretty well considering, the positions that he played. Played 22 games, 6.72, but most of his games were played out of position, and he is now 35 years old. We then let Jordan Brown, one of the draft players from the previous season, and Brad Tran, we let both of them go, just release them from their contracts. They were quite poor. We then let Aurelien Collin go, the French player who actually starts at the club. As you can see, he's a very good player, but he just never really performed that well for me. So we sold him to OB in Denmark for 250,000. And yeah, just never really performed. And he was actually on 3.5k a week as well, which is obviously very high for the MLS standard. The next player we let go of was Brian Roches. Never actually started or played a game. He was actually unregistered, but he was injured at the time, so he didn't get waived or whatever. Something like that. And the final player was Daniel Curtin. He was also released as well. Again, one of the draft graduates as well with Trent and Brown. So the players we brought in, I think we had a pretty decent super draft, which is obviously the main draft where you draft in your regions. First of all, Tim Doyle from Chicago Inferno. As you can see, a very decent striker. 17 finishing, 17 heading, 15 acceleration, 13 pace, half decent strength, good work rate, good teamwork. Off the balls, not great, neither is his composure, but he's only 21. He was a Generation Adidas player as well, which is why his wages are so high, but I think he scored maybe 2 goals in pre-season, so yeah, decent signing. The next player I brought in was my first round pick, and that was Alan Simpson. Very decent right winger. Half decent pace on him, 13 pace, 17 acceleration. Very, very good determination of 19. Teamwork, work rate, again, very high as well. Dribbling, crossing, pretty decent, passing as well, technique. So he's quite a decent player, 22. I think he will be one for the future, I really do. Very low wage as well, £575 a week. I like that. The final, the second last player, the final player we brought in, I don't know what I'm talking about. Joe Bullen was the next player in. I think he was in the supplemental draft. I'm not 100% sure though. Simply brought him in just as a backup player. He can play striker, he can play in the midfield as well, with half decent passing. And he's also quite physical as well with that great pace there. So I thought he'd be a nice little addition. We then brought in Danny Ayala as well from the supplemental draft, which is basically all the rejects that aren't picked from the super draft. I thought he was a very good pickup, and as you can see, 15 passing, 14 technique, 14 first touch, decent dribbling. The mentals obviously let him down massively. The physicals aren't bad, so that's another plus for him. And I think I've actually got Kaká tutoring him at the moment. I don't actually know where to see that. Yes, I think he's being tutored by someone. And if I'm missing it, I don't know how I'm missing it. But anyway, um, he is being tutored at the moment. Maybe in here. No? Okay. Anyway, yeah, he's being tutored, so obviously his attributes are going up quite a lot. I gave him, a couple of uh, games, sub-appearances, sorry, in the preseason friendlies we played. The next the next player was Rainford Calaba from TP Mazembe for free. I had set this deal up a long time ago. Brought him in as a designated player on 14,500 a week as well, which is quite steep. But if you compare him to Kaká, which he's a little bit worse than Kaká's standard, but he is also, nearly 5 years younger. Kaká's on like 88,000 a week, so yeah. Brought this guy in, very good midfielder, very experienced, 88 caps for the Zambian national team. But the biggest thing, as you can see over here, is he picked up an injury 2 weeks before he came to the club, and it was an 8-month injury. It's now down to 6 months, but yeah, broke his leg before he came to us. That's quite, bad luck. The next player we brought in, you might be familiar with him, Emiliano Martinez. He is a current reserve team goalkeeper for Arsenal. He has played, I think, a couple of Champions League games and some cup games here and there. As you can see, played with Arsenal, played 2 games in the Premier League, actually, season before last. So, yeah, brought him in on a free transfer. Donovan Ricketts retired last season, or the end of last season, so we needed to fill his boots, and I think this guy is actually quite an amazing signing. I think he's, got all the right attributes to be a decent MLS goalkeeper in the future. And the final player we brought in was Joaquin Alonso Hernandez. We'll just call him Hernandez, I suppose. We brought him in from Monterrey, the Mexican team, for 6,500. 22-year-old American striker, can play on the right wing as well. Pretty decent, but yeah, in the exact same boots as Rainford Calaba, and yeah, picked up an injury a couple of weeks before he was to sign with the club, and yeah, he's still out for 3 months. I think he was out for about 6 when it first happened, so yeah, slowly getting back. Another thing I haven't really mentioned was we actually sold another player. We sold CJ Sapong for 2 draft picks and 80,000 allocation fee. For some reason, I don't know why, but that's not actually being shown here. I think that's quite weird. Yeah, I don't really know why that's not showing, but anyway, getting to the preseason friendlies here. Started off with a game against America de Cali, a boring 0-0 draw match. Gave a few of the old boys a run out here. Chacon, all the old boys from the old team, pretty much. And yeah, we played pretty poorly, to be honest. We then managed another draw, this time coming against Fort Lauderdale Strikers. A 1-1 draw with our only goal coming from Alan Simpson in his first ever game for the club. Pretty impressive, 7.5 match rating as well. Was quite happy with that. We then versed Universitario. Managed a 3-0 victory there. Bobby Burling, Breck Shea and Carlos Rivas on the score sheet for us there. We then versed our rivals, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Beat them 3-0 as well. All 3 goals coming from Kaká. Finally putting in a good performance. We then versed another one of our rivals. This, somewhat of a franchise rival. And we beat them 2-0. Tim Doyle, new signing, and Alan Simpson, the other new signing, both from the draft, coming up with the goals there. And then a thrilling 4-3 victory over the Ocola Stampede. Carlos Rivas with a brace, Kaká with a penalty, and Alan Simpson on the score sheet once again. And yeah, that was our preseason. We're going to go into the first MLS game of the season now, as our live com, as you can tell by the title, and it is against the Seattle Sounders, who of course had a very, very good season last season. And I think they won the Supporter Shield. I think so. Anyway, today's lineup will be Tally Hall in goals, Alston at right back, Knight and Apara as our centre back pairing, and Tierney at left back. We're going with Alexander as a deep line playmaker, with Stavidra as our roaming playmaker. In front of them is Kaká, as always, if he's not injured, as our AMC advanced playmaker. We've got Breck Shea on the left, we've got the new boy Simpson on the right, and we've got Carlos Rivas up front. The bench today consists of Martinez, Redding, Ramos, Ayala, Chacon, Tim Doyle, and Kyle Larin, who is actually in my Canadian under-23 squad. Anyway, let's go into this. I'm not expecting big things. This is the Seattle Sounders. They are quite a decent team. I'd love to pull off a draw here today, just to get the season underway. You know, we brought in quite a few new players, and obviously that's going to have a bit of an effect on how we perform today, I think. Because I haven't actually changed the team training to teamwork, or team training to team cohesion, I mean, not team talk, that's it. Anyway, team cohesion. So a little bit worried about that as well. And hopefully the match can load up a little bit quicker, because I'd like to hurry up and get underway. So Seattle's key man is AJ De La Garza, and ours is obviously Kaká. And here we go. Send my assistant to that. They're starting with Martins up front, Clint Dempsey in behind. Papa is on the left, who's a very good player. De La Garza and Marshall in the centre of the defence. They've got Chad Barrett on the bench. And that's about it as far as the players I really have any knowledge about. I'm going to say I expect a win today. Just going to see what that does, eh? I'm trying to get the boys a little bit pumped up. And here we go, kickoff underway. The Florida Citrus Bowl. Another thing I feel is like a noteworthy mention is we are actually building a new stadium, which is, you know, locked into the game as it starts. The Florida... injury already. Lovely. Ramos on. Yeah, so the Florida Citrus Bowl is 65,500 capacity, which is obviously the stadium we're in now. Not a soccer-specific stadium, as the Americans like to call it. It is the college football team, so the Gridiron team. That's their home ground. They play all their games here. And, you know, obviously Orlando is renting that stadium from them. And they're building their own. And that stadium has a capacity of 19,500. To put that into perspective, our season ticket holders are 38,500. We have double the amount of season ticket holders as we will have seats in our stadium once the new stadium is actually built. So I don't really know what's happened there. You know, it seems like a total massive fuck up, to be honest. And it's going to be very, very difficult, because once that new stadium is built, you can't build another new one for 20 years. So you're going to be stuck with that. Obviously, we'll probably be able to expand it, but I mean, you know, the potential expansion is going to be nowhere near, you know, what we have at the moment. And I don't even think it'll reach, you know, to the 38,000 season ticket holder capacity that we already have. I think our lowest attendance was 39,000. So that's basically last season, all of our season ticket holders came to one game, and maybe a few more. And that was our lowest. I think our highest was 56,000. So obviously we're not selling it out, but just crazy to think that a full stadium is going to be 19,500 in the future. And I think that's a penalty. It is. De La Garza has given away a penalty for us here in the 63rd minute. And it will be Kaká to take it. Can he score it? Yes, he can. Top right-hand corner. Brilliant. 1-0 to the good. Come on, boys. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm liking the way things are looking at the moment. The only player I can really see is Simpson. He's not playing too well, but it is his debut, so I'm not going to be too hard on him. Shea, Saavedra, out wide to Ramos. Can he cross it? Yes, he can. Rivas! Oh, good save. Simpson! Oh! Almost got the shot away. 10 minutes to go. Evans pumps it forward. That's a Para's ball all day long. Tierney. Ooh, Sakodi tackles him. Martins is in behind. Oh, God. Oh, God. Shut him down. And that's a fucking screamer. 1-1. Okay, Obafemi Martins. Rightio. I did say I would take the draw at the start of the game, but that's a bit disappointing. Yeah. I don't know whether to be happy or a little bit sad, seeing as we had the 1-0 lead. I guess I'm content. That's probably the best way to describe that result there. I'm content. So that's going to pretty much wrap this episode up, guys. They actually kind of outplayed us there. I'll join you guys back in the future. I'll jump into the fixtures very quickly here and just have a look when I'll join you guys back. I'll probably join you guys back around maybe Montreal Impact. Yeah, Montreal Impact. I think that'll be a good game to live com at home anyway. So I'll join you guys back when we verse the Montreal Impact at home at the Florida Citrus Bowl. We'll go over the fixtures. I think by that time, Montreal Impact, further down. Yeah, by that time I should know if I'm into the Olympic Games with Canada. I was about to say Canada then, which would have been really embarrassing. But yeah, into the Olympic Games with Canada. Hopefully I am, because that'd be, you know, a nice little experience for the save, and for me as well, I suppose. Yeah, guys, if you could drop a like, that'd be amazing, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.